Hi everyone, it's Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to make what I call the country cotton coaster. Now it's a little bit bigger than your average coaster. It measures about 5 by 5 inches, and the reason that I called it country cotton is because the style of it reminds me of sitting on the front porch drinking sweet Oklahoma tea from our mason jars and just watching the fireflies fly around in the evening. And so I've got them made out of two different types of cotton, and I really suggest you do use 100% cotton, because when you're drinking that Oklahoma sweet tea or any sweet tea, you're going to have ice cubes in there on a hot summer evening, and it's going to sweat. So you want to make sure that you have your coaster made out of 100% cotton so that when that sweats, that cotton absorbs it. These are super easy to make, and you can make a bunch of them with your leftover cottons, or just make some in the kind of cottons that you want to. Now you can find this free crochet pattern on my blog, and as always, I'll put that pattern link down in the notes underneath this video. My two favorite cottons to use for this project is the Peaches and Cream and Sugar and Cream, but any 100% cotton or probably a cotton blend would work just fine. These two are made with the Peaches and Cream Stripey, and this color is just called Denim, and you can get 3 of these coasters off one of these skeins, and that's 2 ounces. And I have written down that you need 1 ounce per coaster, and that just gives you a little leeway so that you make sure that you have enough for as many coasters as you want to make. This one here, and I love it because it's kind of a country red, white, and blue, not those real bright, vibrant colors of red, white, and blue. And this is the one that I used, and we're going to use this today for our demonstration, which is Sugar and Cream. And it is a stripes, and it's called American Stripes. And you can see it's like almost a muted red, white, and blue, and I really like that. I think it gives it a really nice country look. This one also has 2 ounces. And so with 2 ounces, you can probably get 3 coasters, but I have it listed, like I said, as 1 ounce per coaster, just to make sure you have enough yarn for however many coasters that you want to make. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, and the H hook is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need your scissors, and then you'll also just need your needle for weaving in those ends. And if you want to drink tea, you're going to need some good strong mason jars. We're going to begin with our slip knot. We're going to chain 5. We're going to join this chain 5 into a circle. So we'll put our tail of yarn over our hook and pull that through that loop. We'll snug this down and then make that stay knot. Now for our first row, we're going to be stitching over our tail of yarn. So it's on that side. We'll put our hook in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the next 2 loops, yarn over, and go through the next 2 loops. So we have 2 double crochets, chain 1. And now we're going to stitch 5 more sets, so we have a total of 6 sets of 2 double crochet, chain 1. There's 3 sets. This will be snug. Oh, get that tail of yarn out of the way there. All right, there's 4 sets of 2 double crochet, chain 1, 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then 1 more set of 2 double crochets. There's 1 and 2, chain 1. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochet, sets of 2 double crochet, chain 1. We're going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch. Whoops, got a little splitty in there. There we go. We're going to slip stitch in that next double crochet. Then we'll slip stitch in that first chain 1 space and chain 3. Now you may notice that you have a little hole in the center. That's why we stitched over that tail of yarn, and we'll just gently pull it. It will close that hole up, and then we can go ahead and take our needle and weave it in, and then we don't have to weave it in later. So we'll just go around some of those stitches. Remember to go one way, turn, and then come back the other way. We'll clip that off. We don't have to worry about that. That's all weaved in. And for row 1, we have 6 sets of 2 double crochet, chain 1, then we slip stitch to the first chain 1 space and chained 3. For row 2, we're going to be stitching in only the chain 1 spaces around. Our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, so we're going to stitch another double crochet in that same space, chain 1, and 2 double crochets in that same chain 1 space. All right, now we go to our next chain 1 space, and we stitch 2 double crochets, 1, 2, there we go, chain 1, and 2 double crochets, 1, 2. There we go. Now we go to our next chain 1 space and stitch 2 double crochets, 1, there we go, 2, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. And then we'll repeat this on these last 3 chain 1 spaces, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces. So I completed those last 3 sets of 2 double crochet, chain 1, and 2 double crochet, so we have 6 sets of those. I'm going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch in the next double crochet, and then slip stitch in the next chain 1 space. Chain 3. All right. So again, we're going to place another double crochet in that chain 1 space. We're going to chain 1 and then 2 double crochets in that same chain 1 space. Now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in this space between those 2 sets of 2 double crochets. Go in and stitch 2 double crochets, and then chain 1. This brings us to the next corner with the chain 1 space. So we're going to stitch 2 double crochets, 1, 2, chain 1, 2 double crochets, 1, 2, we'll chain 1 and then stitch 2 double crochets in this space between those 2 corners. 1 and 2, and chain 1. Now we're to the next corner. 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets in that corner, 1 and 2, chain 1, 2 double crochets in that space between, 1, 2, and chain 1. And I think you can see how row 3 works. We have a corner that we stitch 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. Then we chain 1 and stitch 2 double crochets in that space between the 2 corners. And then we'll repeat that 3 more times. So I've completed row 3. We have 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets in each of our 6 corners. And then in between we have chain 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1 on the sides. We're going to join to the top of our chain 3 with a slip stitch. We'll slip stitch in that next double crochet and then slip stitch in the chain 1 space and just chain 1. And now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch a solid row of single crochets around. And so in this corner we're going to stitch 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Then we'll stitch a single crochet in the 2 double crochets. 1, 2. 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space. 1 single crochet in the 2 double crochets. 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space. 1 single crochet. There we go. And those 2 double crochets. And when we get to the corner, we want to stitch 2 single crochets in that corner. 1 and 2. Then 1 single crochet in the 2 double crochets. 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space. 1 single crochet in those 2 double crochets. 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2 double crochets. That brings us to our next corner, and we'll stitch 2 single crochets in that corner. And that's the way that row 4 works, so that we get a nice solid row of single crochets all the way around our coaster. So continue to repeat that all the way around and join back to our single crochet. I have completed that row of single crochets working all the way around my coaster. I'm going to join back to my first single crochet with a slip stitch and chain 1. Now this last row, row 5, we're going to be doing single crochets with picot stitches or picot stitches. Depending on where you're at, they're pronounced 2 different ways. I don't care how they're pronounced. It's a fun little stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to stitch a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to stitch a single crochet and stitch a picot stitch. So we'll single crochet, chain 3, then we'll slip stitch in the top of that single crochet, and that forms that little bump. Now we'll single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then we'll single crochet in the next stitch, chain 3, slip stitch in the top of our single crochet, and then single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And see how it forms those little bumps? All right, so single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch in the top of that single crochet, and then single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. To me, this is what also gives this coaster a little bit of a country look. Single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch in the top of that single crochet, and then single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. And so we'll continue this, working all the way around the edge of our coaster. So I have completed my trim with my picot stitches. Here's my last picot stitch that I'm going to do. Chain 3, slip stitch, and then we're just going to join to the next or the first single crochet on that row and cut our yarn. And then what I like to do is go to the next stitch, pull that loop to the back, and tie off to the back. I think it gives the front of the coaster just a little bit better appearance. All right, so now we need to weave in this end. So I threaded the yarn where I tied off, and I don't want this white to show through on this blue when I'm weaving it in. So I'm just going to go back through those white stitches and weave it in there. And sometimes you have to do that if you're, especially if your yarn is striping and changing colors like this one. And I'll just go back and forth in these stitches here. There we go. And clip that off. And so now I have another country cotton coaster that I can use for a nice glass of Oklahoma sweet iced tea. Yum. And so you can use any cotton yarn for your country cotton coasters. And you don't have to be from Oklahoma to drink Oklahoma sweet tea.